Hello, and thank you for your interest in Dynamics 365 Business Central. I'm Kevin Alexander, a solution specialist with Alta Vista Technology. If after the demo you'd like to learn more about how we can help you implement Business Central, we'd love to hear from you. So Business Central is part of Microsoft Dynamics 365 stack of business solutions. The application can be accessed through the Microsoft 365 portal, and it integrates seamlessly with Outlook, Teams, Dynamics Sales, and the Power Platform that can be used to extend, automate business processes, and perform data analysis. So Business Central is a full web application, so it can be accessed through any modern browser, right? Chrome, Microsoft Edge, Firefox, Safari. And when a user logs into Business Central, they're presented with a role center. Logged in as a sales processor, so customer service type role. And the role center presents to a user the things that might their job functions might focus on. So, and the screen is kind of laid out in a way to help present both the functions and information that they need to perform their job. So at the top here, there is the main navigation bar here at the top. There are a couple things to point out. One, if you're multi-company, if I can click on the company name here, I can see all the environments or companies that I have access to. So here we have a production environment. Here are the companies. There's 3 different companies that are in here. And then as well as any other environments that maybe you have set up for testing or development. Next to that, though, is really the intelligent search functionality that is inside of Business Central. And by selecting that, you can go in and you can perform a search just about on anything. And it doesn't need to be full words. I can start typing like COS for customers, and the results return things that kind of start lining up with that search result. And at the top half of this will actually show me things on the current page or screen here that might relate to it. So it's noting here, oh, there's customer pricing you can reach from here, or would you like to get on a sales quote or start a quote, discounting features. In the middle, these are what they call lists. Lists are kind of the main way that you're going to kind of navigate and look at records. You see all the customers pop up here. Now, one of the things that I could do here is I can bookmark certain things that I might want to put right on my role center that maybe aren't there by default. And it puts them on what they call the bookmark bar, which is this area right here. So this bar runs all the way across. It could be multi-row. And I'm going to go ahead here and I can click on customers. It will take me to the list. But let's go ahead and we'll just bookmark that for a second, right? So coming back, we can see customers is right here on that list. And so this allows me to kind of drill right down in the customer list. We'll come back to lists in just a moment. As you work your way down the role center, this middle section here, they call fact boxes, or I like to think of these as like interactive tiles or cues for users. So these are things that I might, need to focus in on, or maybe they're places that I go quite often in my day-to-day function. So as an example, I can click on, I want to open up sales orders, and I can click on that, that tile, and it will open up. Here's the 3 sales orders that are currently open. And this is an example of a list screen, right? A couple things to note while you're in the list screens. You'll see here the records. And over here on the right, this is what they call the fact pane. And in the fact pane, note that as I change rows here, this information updates based on the record I'm in. So it's one of those things that keeps me from having maybe to open up or drill down into a record, that I can see that information right from here. So if I clicked on this Customer School of Fine Art, I get things over here like, oh, I can see what their current balance is, what outstanding sales, all those type of statistical information about the customer. And anywhere you kind of see this aqua kind of blue color here, these are links that I can drill down on it. So I notice, oh, there's some outstanding invoices for them. I could click on that amount. It'll actually open up the list and show me those particular invoices. And then from here, I could go and say, show me the document, and I could drill down even further. So, you can drill down, drill around, and get to things really easily, right? Without having to run a lot of reports and doing a lot of exporting of information. Really easy to drill down, drill around. So the fact boxes all kind of function like that. And then if we scroll a little further down, this kind of like intelligent area of my role center, this can be set up to show me things that are a little more informative, right, for myself. So here I have set up a list of customers that I'm interested in seeing, like what their outstanding balances. And this, you can update and change these lists. So really easy. I can come in here and I can manage the list, see outstanding balances. Below that, you'll see the same thing with items. And to the right, we have some visual cues. And so this is showing me, as an example, sales orders that are open by week. So down here, week 15, week 16 in the year, in the particular time period. And when I come up here to this down chevron here, I could change how I'm looking at this information. So maybe I want to look at it by month and rearrange this information or change how I'm viewing it right here on screen. And if I want to go ahead and drill down on it, I can select it, and on that portion, it'll open it up and it'll take me to that list screen that we mentioned before with those particular records right on it. And below that, Power BI, right? Power BI, you can embed Power BI reports about Business Central or other areas of your company right here in the Role Center. And interesting with this too, you can have multiple report visuals here, and then you can use this next report. I kind of refer to this as the carousel, and I can click this and I can go, oh, I want to go on to the next report. And you can add the reports that you want to see in that carousel really easily. You can manage that the same way we were managing these other visual areas. I can go and say, oh, I want to select report. And I can come in here and all the reports that I have access to are here, and I can select those and make them visible to me right here in the carousel. So really neat way. So the Role Center, my home page, right, helps bring a lot of that information to me. So coming back up here to customers, mentioned lists are the main way that we navigate through the application, and we can click on lists here. And if we open up the list screen, this is showing me a list of customers here, and these lists are fully tailorable. Think of them like Excel pages. So you can come in as a user, I can go and personalize, and now I can do things like, oh, I want to add and remove columns. So a column that maybe I don't need to see, I can remove that column, or I can add additional columns here. So I can come over here and say, you know what, maybe I want to see their credit limit. So let's put their credit limit out there. We'll drop that on there. And so I'm able to go ahead and adjust these screens or tailor them for the information that I'd like to be able to see. And just like Excel, if I click on a column, this all is really familiar, right? I can change how the sort order, I can filter on specific columns. So I want to come to that list, and maybe I want to filter for specific types of customers or customers that, meet a specific criteria for me. And rather than having to come in every time and run filters, you can also have saved views or saved lists. And up here, I can click here, and these are a bunch of saved lists in the system. And I have one here for customers that have a balance greater than 0. So I can click on that, right? And it filters directly down to those customers, right? So the power of the lists and being able to use the filter capabilities here to add additional filters and create my own lists over here, as well as I can take this information and we can export this information into Excel, right? And we can work with it out there. So if I click on this share, universal kind of share sign, you'll see this all over the application. I can do what they call edit in Excel. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on that. So when this the customers open up in Excel, I did edit Excel. There's this little pane over here on the right. So I can do editing directly here, and you can control the columns that are in here. They give you a kind of a default set of columns that are being shown here, and you can edit these, meaning what columns you see. But if I came up here to take this particular account, and let's say they're really should have been Inc. at the end. That's their proper name. So I want to put Inc. Or maybe if I had phone number here, right, we could update those things in here. Maybe let's take their credit limit, and their credit limit is going to be 15,000. So I want to do some changes here. Once you are done with it, you can come back over here to the right, and I can hit publish. And let's go ahead and let's minimize this sheet for a second. And back here on our list, we need to refresh our list, right? Refresh the browser window. And when that completes, you see here, so we've got the update here. And notice that we got a credit limit update happened here as well. So we did that all right inside of this Excel worksheet. And here, you can go design the worksheet too. So, what information you see in here in the sheet. So really great for doing editing, for doing mass updates, analysis. So this real-time data connector, super handy. And because we're a web application, hey, we can work with multiple tabs at the same time. So you can have multiple tabs open. You can, copy and duplicate tabs. Or on records, right? If I pick, let's go ahead and open up our first customer here. Let's drill into some information about that customer. So we'll come in here to the customer area, and I'm going to go to what they call their ledger entries. It's kind of like the history for them. And this loads up the ledger entries area for that customer. And I want to go back to the customer card now. And I could do that using the back button. I could escape out of here, or you can simply click the layer below that you want to get to. And I know we're on the customer, and I click on that layer and it takes me back to the customer card. Or maybe I'd like to have multiple windows open at the same time, kind of like tabs, but I want to do it as a pop-out window. And so over here, you can click the pop-out, and it will do a pop-out window for you. So very flexible how users can work with it. So these are all browser properties. Let's look really quick at some of that interoperability with Outlook. So we'll put ourselves back in our role center, and let's go into Outlook here for a moment. And in Outlook, if I'm just going to select on this email here, and this email is from Kevin, and this email comes up, and I want to pull up the information for Kevin in Business Central, and I can do that right from the email. So I'm in the browser window right now. So when I click on this list here, this is like the ribbon buttons that you would see going across the top of your Outlook, right? I'm in a browser, so they present them differently. But if you look at your Outlook right now, you'll notice, reply all. This will look really familiar to you. And one of those buttons that gets placed in there is Business Central. And I can go ahead and click on Contact Insights. And what it did was it looked and said, do I have Kevin in Business Central as a contact? Oh, I do. What company is he part of? Trey Research. And so it brought back information on Trey Research right here in the window. I have things like I can see their aging right down here. I can see outstanding balances. I can go ahead and I can drill down on these values as well. So I could go ahead and I could click on the balance, drill into it. It will return what those invoices are, and a little small right over here on the right. So you can always say, hey, I want to open this in a new window, and that will go ahead and pop those out in a Business Central window for me. So I can interact right with the data right in screen, right, without having to change anything I'm doing. As you scroll down, right, we see the fact boxes for them. All sorts of balance information, last payment information. So we can drill down in there, as well as here are some of the notes and comments as it relates to this particular account, right? in the CRM portion of Business Central. Okay, we do that all here. I can also start a record from here as well. So over here on the ellipse, when I click on that, when we look down here, these are all the functions that I have available inside of Business Central. So a few of my favorite are, I always like customer statistics. So I can click on statistics. I can see things that are going on with them, current sales year to date versus this period. So lots of information that you can reach. But also, let's come back in here for a moment. And maybe they would like, I need to start an order for this customer. So you could even start a new document from here as well. So we came down, I could actually begin the sales order. I could click on sales order. It'll open that sales order in the sidebar. You could put an order in fairly quickly here if you wanted. But a lot of times I find it really helpful to just pop that out into a separate window and start my entry, but not without having to leave. Outlook to accomplish any of this. And so we'll come down here. We'll put an order in. I'm gonna put a one-line order in really quick, just as an example. And so I'm gonna start looking for an item. Now, when I click in here, you'll see this all over the application. It starts to show me the list of values that I could select from there. And I'm actually in the number field. And so just to show, and this will work with customers and vendors and other records as well. Let's say I don't know what the product number is, so I'm just going to start typing the name of it. And so it'll search for it and find it by name as well. And so I can select that and pop that right into the order. And I'll go ahead and we'll go ahead and select the quantity there. And we'll go ahead and do that. We'll go ahead and close that up, and we'll go in Business Central and take a look at that in a few moments, right? So let's pivot right over to the Business Central itself, and we'll pull up a list of sales orders. So I have that bookmarked up here on my bar. Here's the order that we just put into the system. And we get time to act on this. We can fulfill this in a number of ways. Like to mention, Business Central has a full warehouse management suite. So you can have what they call basic or advanced warehousing in the system. And one of the things that we're able to do, you can email directly out of the system. So if I wanted to email the confirmation to the customer, I can do that right here. It'll actually pull up it'll pull up the customer, and it'll actually attach the sales order here. You can actually, and we can have templates as well, so it can have some predefined messages in here. And this will go right out of your Outlook. It also will get logged to the customer in Business Central, so into the CRM portion of the application on that contact record. We'll go ahead and we'll just discard that draft there, right? So we can work with orders in a lot of different ways. But on the finance end, and specifically just looking at the chart of accounts here, I'm going to open up the chart, and I want to note here, so Business Central works on something on just the natural end of it, and it uses a concept we call dimensions to handle the segment. So think of the dimensions like tagging, and dimensions can be associated. Not only can I specify them on journal entries, right, but I also can tag salespeople and customers and vendors and items, and what they're doing is they're calculating information, right, or activity, so that later I can go back and report on it. And what this does, though, for your chart is it keeps it nice and tidy, right? So if you got a multi-segmented chart, every time you add something new, like a new department or maybe a new product line, I don't have to come out here and keep expanding my chart to meet that. And so we can keep our charts nice and tight. The other thing in the chart is this is almost a report in itself. And you can notice that we have the ability here. I've actually have this separated so I can see, I see I've got a balance sheet accounts, and I can see, assets and what total assets are. And if I keep, scrolling down, the same theme right through the income statement. Now, what's interesting here is, hey, maybe I just want to see the income statement. So I could come up to my list view. Remember, we were sharing lists before, or saving, I should say, and I have one called income statement. So what this does is it just filters for accounts that are just income statement accounts. And when I'm in here, notice I've got these three different balances in here. So I can filter for a particular date range. So I'm going to click on the filter, and we're going to come over here, and we're going to filter our data by a date filter. Now my date's in the past, or my data's in the past. So I'm going to take this from 3/1/21 through 3/31/21. And I want you to kind of note what happens to these totals, numbers now, right? These totals. Right now, it's the same in every column. But if I go ahead and I tab off of there, notice what happened. They all updated, right? So now when I come in here and go, oh, so my sales for this date range was $57,879. My balance as of the end of that range, date range, is here. And then here's my current balance, right? And we did all that without having to run a report of any kind. And I can then do what? Remember, we can drill down. And so I can drill into that account, and I can see all the activity and invoices that make that up, right? So really powerful, right? What we could do with the chart, right? The other is doing the analysis, right, on those segments that are now dimensions, right? And so we call them dimensional analysis. So let's take a quick pivot over there to see what those look like. So I have a report open in my analysis by dimensions. And when I look at this, the lines will be by GL account and the columns will be by period. So let's just run this one first, right? And take a look at this. So you can see what this is doing by month, and I can look at this, and it's giving me, right, that detailed activity or summary activity by month. And you go, okay, well, Kev, that's great. We see this in before in reports. So now let's take this and do something interesting with it. So what we'll do is we'll do it by GL account, but instead of by period, let's look at by one of our dimensions, which would have been a chart segment before. So I select department, right? Now, let's come back, and I'm just going to set my dates, since I did not set a hard date period. I just want to run this wide open, right, for ourselves, just to make sure we see all the date. And I'm going to come back and show the matrix again. Now when we do it, right, oh, so all the activities in the sales department, but you can see, oh, now I'm seeing it. This department's generating, oh, by sales. Like, oh, interesting, right? And again, I can, it's being broken up by department. Well, let's come, by department. So let's come back now and let's do one last thing here. And we could twist this if we want. And hey, you know what? I want to run it by department here. And then I want to do it by customer group. Right, so we've got different customer groups, right? And so basically, you know, we're just keep twisting the analysis on how we want to look at stuff, the date range we want to look at it for, and for the account. So, you know, we can place account filters and such on here, right? And we'll go ahead and run this again. So now, terrible numbers, but you get the idea here is that we would have had departments here and types of customers over here. So imagine doing this by products or by salespeople. So you can run these really quick analysis, and these are all available for us to see in the base financial reports as well. So I hope you found this video useful, and we'll see you again with the Business Central video again in the future. If you'd like to learn more about Business Central, again, please give us a call. And if you like the video, you know, hit that thumbs up. And if it's your first time, please click the subscribe. And as always, hey, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again in the next video.